Hi, I'm King TJ. Happy New Year! That's right, 2022 is dead and 2023 is upon us. What horrors will it bring? Stay tuned. Actually, even though only 1 in 3 Americans say they had a great year in 2022, I'd have to consider myself to be among them. 2020, 2021, and 2022 have all been pretty nice years for me, despite being, terrible for America. I can't help it. I'm a pig and I thrive in the muck. But I'm also a king, and while my royal ambitions are global, for this video I'd like to focus on America and our holidays, because really, most of our good ones are all clustered towards the end of the year. You know, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve, all take place within 62 days of one another. Halloween is on October 31st, New Year's Day is on January 1st, that's just a 62-day window right there. Why are all of our best holidays stuffed into a little 2-month time span, while the rest of the year is just this slow, monotonous slog? And why do we have so many useless holidays that don't do a damn thing for anyone? Well, what's a king for, if not for making bold decrees about what shall henceforth be? America has long needed some holiday reform, and I know it might not be the most pressing issue that we face as a nation, but it is an issue. Don't make any mistakes about that. You know, it definitely is something that should be addressed, and I'm here to do just that. What better day to do it than at the cusp of a brand new year? So first of all, let's talk about what's getting cut. Valentine's Day, that's getting cut. Holiday made up by the chocolatiers and the greeting card companies, nah. If you want to have a romantic evening with your partner or partners or your hand, that's up to you. You plan it out. We don't need to put it on the calendar, all right? You could write it in on your personal calendar. It doesn't need to be, an official holiday. You don't need the state's permission or the calendar company's permission or whoever's permission to be amorous with your significant humans, all right? St. Patrick's Day. All right, I hate to be stereotyping, but do Irish people really need an occasion to get drunk? It's cut. It's gone. Sorry. Don't kick my ass, Irish people. Oh, and that whole pinch you because you're not wearing green thing? Meh. Easter. If you're an adult, what the hell is this one to you? If you're a kid, a bunny rabbit brings you a chocolate version of itself so that you could eat its ears and then forget about it until June when you find it all white and oxidized and stuff, and it's just cut that. Maybe once upon a time a chocolate bunny was an exciting gift, but we have better candy than that now, you know what I mean? Mother's Day and Father's Day, what do they need a day for? This sends the message that breeding is good and noble, and I just don't agree. When we start running low on humans, maybe we can consider bringing these back as some kind of incentive, but until then, it's cut. 4th of July, at first glance, it's let's eat hot dogs and hamburgers and blow stuff up. That sounds cool, at a glance, but then you kind of realize you're celebrating a bunch of rich, slave, fondling, old white dudes, who basically were just rebelling against a bunch of other, slave-fondling, rich old white dudes that just happened to be across an ocean, and they're just wait a minute, we can cut these guys out, and then they made it everybody's problem? Hard pass on that, sorry. Just don't buy into the whole America myth at this point. Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas can stay, because they're all good, fundamentally, but they need some reform. And New Year's can stay, because I know that, people just like this false impression that they're given some kind of new beginning, right? Really, any day can be a new beginning, but more likely it's just going to be a continuation of all the bullshit that came before. So other holidays that are going away for sheer lameness are all the racial and cultural holidays, because we're just abolishing all that stuff, MLK Day, he's a great man, we can still study him and stuff, but he don't need a day. Cinco de Mayo, I can eat Mexican food any other day. That's all it is to white people anyway. It's it's Mexican food day. Any day is Mexican food day. Earth Day. Every day should be Earth Day. You should take care of the earth. It's not just, you can't just be once a year, pay some lip service to the earth and plant a tree and be woo! All the jingoistic holidays like Memorial Day and Veterans Day, they gotta go. Also on the chopping block are the holidays that are only celebrated by one religious group. Like, I don't know what Epiphany Day is, but I'm jealous and I don't like it. And no more Hanukkah, all right? You know, I always felt bad when I was growing up for the kids who had to celebrate Hanukkah just because they're Jewish. Jews can celebrate Christmas, it's fine. It's not going to ruin Judaism, all right? April Fool's Day, cool concept, but it really hasn't been fun since the internet happened. Because now it's just a day where you can't trust anything you hear or read. And that's unfortunately just every day of our lives. Thus, it's no longer relevant. Basically, most holidays are lame as hell and pretty much just need to go away forever. We as rational adults can recognize that, yeah? So, all right, let's move on, okay? With all those garbage holidays no longer cluttering up the year, we can now begin to take a rational approach to this subject. So what really is a holiday? I invite you to contemplate that for a second. What is a holiday really? It's really just a day that we set aside, and it can be more than a day. It could be a week or a time, a year that we set aside to do something a little bit different than the monotonous grating grind of human existence and its tediums, okay? It's just a time when you can shake things up a little bit, which is why putting them all in a little 2-month window is a trash strategy, for mush brains and lunatics, it doesn't work. You can't break up the monotony of a whole year of just slog and work and blah, 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 with a few little holidays thrown in at the end. And honestly, putting all the holidays that close together means they're not a break from the monotony. They're part of the monotony because all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, there's just too many holidays. It's all happening at once. And, it becomes stressful and people get, that's why there's higher instances of suicidality at Christmas time because it's just too goddamn much, too fucking close together. So anyway, Halloween and Christmas I think are pretty good where they are. To me, they're the heavy hitters of the holiday season. Now, because I'm an edgy goth and all that, Halloween's my favorite. But I like Christmas too. These two big holidays, they're towards the end of the year. But, what really fucks it up, in my opinion, is having Thanksgiving right there in the middle. Because it's like, what is Thanksgiving? Let's have a big feast. Well, we're already going to do that on Christmas. So if we're going to do it a month later, that's just monotony. That's the very thing we're trying to avoid with holidays in the first place, right? So let's put Thanksgiving, mid-August. Give it some breathing room. And can we please change the aesthetics of this thing? Because both Halloween and Christmas have some pretty dope visuals associated with them. But Thanksgiving has always looked lame. It's like the fall color palette is just kind of gross because it's mostly just shades of brown. So it's like a swatch of turd colors. I don't like it. I never have. And then, just drop the lore in general from Thanksgiving. The Pilgrims and the Indians eating together to cement their long-standing friendship. It didn't really work out all that great for the Indians, Like, it's kind of, it puts a damper in the whole thing when it's like, they were friends. It's like, yeah, but not for long. We know how that turned out. Second of all, what does that really have to do with thankfulness anyway? In fact, what does eating a whole bunch of food have to do with being thankful? I mean, I guess you can be thankful for the food, but you should be thankful for everything you got in life, right? I mean, that's the thing. You can't just, make up for being an ingrate the rest of the year by having one day of thankfulness. So what I would say is be thankful for most of the year and then just treat Thanksgiving as what it really is. Gluttony Day. A day where we eat ourselves into a coma on a bunch of weird crap that we really don't eat the rest of the year. At least I don't. Like, I have never once sat down on a normal-ass Tuesday night and had turkey and stuffing and cranberry sauce and candied yams and shit. The only food associated with Thanksgiving that I regularly eat outside of Thanksgiving is probably mashed potatoes and gravy, because that's God-tier stuff, all right? Let's all just, get together with our friends and our family and eat too much and suffer. Gluttony Day, And if you start to feel thankful for something, stifle those feelings. Focus on what really matters. Eating. Eat. Halloween is a mostly decent holiday, but I think it needs to get back to its horror roots, because Halloween has become too family friendly in recent times, in my opinion. Some kids, they show up to your house, they dress as Captain America or Elsa or something. You know what? Those kids shouldn't get any candy. No more candy for those. I want to see werewolves, vampires, demons, slashers, zombies, ghouls, ghosts. And after it starts to get too late and the trick-or-treaters, go back home and eat their candy and stuff, I want to see the streets start to fill up with drunk sluts and skimpy costumes running around through the night, and teenagers cruising around in their cars doing property damage to any houses that aren't adequately in the holiday spirit. You know what I mean? Real Halloween, classic Halloween, traditional Halloween. People are always talking about American values, traditional values, but no one ever talks about traditional Halloween. Halloween used to be a night of teenagers running amok, smashing shit throughout the city, and the whole trick-or-treat thing rose up as like, hey, don't destroy my property and act wild. Instead, take some candy. And it's like, you gave us candy. You bribed us with candy not to destroy your property. We will not destroy your property. We will destroy your neighbor's property instead. That's traditional Halloween. You might not like it, because, we're all namby-pamby these days, but still, that's what it's supposed to be, and I'm bringing it back to those roots. Christmas is mostly fine, too. And I love the spirit of togetherness, peace on earth, goodwill to men, but I think Christmas could do with a little bit more edge, folks. Just a little bit. I'm not saying you have to turn Christmas into a second Halloween or something, but American Christmas, just Krampus. Bring back Krampus, for instance. I mean, I know we've kind of been easing him back into the holiday for a minute now, but I think it's time to just make it official. I don't think kids are sufficiently scared of coal in their stockings, but a demon who's coming to literally drag them to hell and beat the shit out of them, that's pretty metal, and I think that is a great Christmas. Oh, and I think it should be against the law to play any Christmas music or put up any Christmas decorations before December 1st. Like, if I see, any of that shit in November, I say send Santa's elves to burn their house down, all right? So, you got Gluttony Day in August, Halloween in October, Christmas in December. But what about the first half of the year? That's 3 big holidays in the second half of the year, but what about the first half? Still looking pretty damn sparse, right? So this is where we're going to need some new holidays to fill up the gaps a little bit. So, because Christmas is too goddamn expensive, I think January and February can be recovery months. No one wants to celebrate anything in February anyway. As someone born in February, I can tell you that firsthand. My birthdays have always sucked because no one wants to celebrate shit in a short, cold, bitter month. But here's the thing. On the first Sunday of March, we kick off Drug Appreciation Week. And this is where everybody just gets fucked up on their drug of choice for a week. And no one says shit to them about it. Society comes to a screeching halt as everyone just basically parties for a week solid. And the rest of March is basically just 3 weeks of recovery from whatever the hell you got up to. What happens during Drug Appreciation Week stays in Drug Appreciation Week. All right? You get it. In May, we've got some socially conscious holidays because, I bet people, a lot of guilty consciences from Drug Appreciation Week. So it's time for some socially conscious holidays. Some holidays that, are there for a reason. They're there to remind us of what's truly important. So, for instance, on May 1st, we have Shooting Prevention Day, where all of the nation's 8s and 9s and 10s have to sleep with an incel. To keep the rest of us safe. This is their civic duty. This is for the good of the lands, people. Because we all know you break off a little piece for the incels once a year, and they know that day is coming. Maybe they're not so eager to go shoot up the school or the hospital or the 7-Eleven or whatever the hell. Maybe they're not so into the right-wing ideology anymore. They're just marking the days until, next May. On May 15th, we have Boss Punching Day. This is basically my answer to Labor Day. Labor Day, get a day off, and everybody, oh wow, we appreciate our workers. Bullshit. Boss Punching Day. A day where you and your coworkers get to select one among you to give your boss a punch in the fucking face. So if you're a boss that's treated your employees pretty well, You know, they're probably going to only select the 98-pound weakling among them to give you a little love tap, maybe just bump you on the chin a little bit. But if you've been some kind of slave-driving douchebag, they're going to get the burliest in their ranks to come lay your shitbag ass out. And if you don't, you might think you can get out of it, but like, I won't hire anyone that's tough enough to give me a punch like that. Well, they can commission somebody. They can go find a local boxer and hire him for the day. They got the power to do that. You know, so you better watch your ass. What you do the rest of the year might come back to bite you on May 15th. And if your ass happens to hit the ground a little too hard, have a little brain hemorrhage bleed, happen to, you know, maybe the EMS, they ain't working that day. I don't know. So you better be fucking careful, boss. That's all I got to say. On May 30th, we have Shut Up Already Day. A day when finally everyone shuts the hell up and stops their incessant goddamn blather. And anyone who talks, you just have social permission to smack the ever-loving piss out of them and the cops will look the other way. Those are my socially conscious holidays. I think those will make the world a better place. Then, in late June and early July, we have Carnivoria, a 2-week celebration of meat and barbecue where everyone is encouraged to go massively overboard on the whole summer barbecue thing. And being invited to a barbecue is a valid excuse to not show up to work or any other social gathering for that matter. Even important ones like, oh man, grandma's funeral? Oh geez, I wish I could make it, but this smoked brisket, bro. And I know what you're thinking. What about vegans? What about vegetarians? I've thought about that. They can go to work. Obviously, these are just the major holidays, all right? I think we still need a few little nonsense holidays peppered around, but I feel like they need to be more personalized. So here's what I'm thinking. Every person in America should be able to create 3 holidays that apply only to them. One built around their favorite activity, one built around their favorite person, and their birthday. So maybe you love spanking and Todd McFarlane and you were born on June 11th. So you can have a spanking day where you get to stay home from work and spank somebody. You have to arrange your own person, obviously, but it's a valid day off for you. Then you get Todd McFarlane's birthday off, or the next, nearest work day to that. And on your birthday, you get that day off as well, by law, and every restaurant across the land must feed you for free. Within reason. You obviously can't go in and just be like, give me the whole menu or something, but they have to give you a reasonably sized meal for free, gratis, because it's your goddamn birthday. Okay, so that's my holiday reform plan. It's in its infancy. I'm willing to take suggestions. I mean, it's still developing. I haven't cemented this. I haven't, haven't written the decree out or anything yet. But I'm just running it by you guys, see what you think. Are you on board? Do you think it sucks? Do you like it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you got a suggestion, like for a holiday that you might want to see, lay it on me. I might consider adding it. I might consider replacing one of mine with yours. I'm an egomaniac, but if you got an idea better than my idea, I will throw my idea in the trash and put your idea right up on that pedestal in a second. So I'm not sure what you guys are doing for New Year's tonight, but me and my co-hosts on DFF are going to be spending 6 hours watching Jordan Peterson clips and ushering in the new year for every major U.S. time zone. Alaska and Hawaii, I'm sorry, you just don't count. I know that sounds freaking horrible because it is, but why would we want to usher in the new year with that bloviating nitwit, one of the most insufferable humans to ever exist? But our patrons do seem to love us suffering, and it is for patrons only. But you can join our Patreon for just $7 a month by clicking the link down below. Or if you're seeing this just a little too late for that, you could always watch the replay. That will stay up on our Patreon for, time immemorial. And you'd better believe I will be getting drunk as a skunk tonight, so things will go down. You can bet both cheeks of your sweet ass. Oh, yes. So until next time, I'm King TJ, showering you with love, showering you with blessings, inviting you to come join me on the other side of that Patreon paywall to suffer with me through the Gauntlet of Jordan Peterson clips. And with that said, peace the fuck out. Here's a little bit more info about that Jordan Peterson Gauntlet.
The new year approaches and brings with it tidings of neo-Malthusian implication. Grinning liberal bobbleheads be warned. While some poor sods are reveling in festivity, I and other serious critics of the neo-feminist liberal agenda will be hard at work, unpacking the dialectic, attempting to make heads or tails of the new implications wrought by this new priesthood of public belief. 3 slobs known as Pessimist Productions will be facing me down in a gauntlet of Herculean proportion. I will not go easy on them. They are anti-man, anti-God, and furthermore, anti-masculine. They seek to confuse the youth by blurring the lines of gender and upsetting the apple cart of race and class. I will not allow them to do so. Join the Pessimist Productions Patreon now, or else you will be left shivering and naked in the total darkness of ignorance. Only patrons will get to see the pain, the beauty, and the glory of these cultural terrorists meeting their match. Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who. Starting on December 31st at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and continuing until all of the United States has rung in the new year. If you miss the Jordan Peterson Gauntlet, you'll likely never forgive yourself. Be brave in the face of the feminist. Reject the modern assumption that men are evil and wrong. Join the Pessimist Productions Patreon now, or else submit yourself to the decay of modernity.
Happy New Year, everybody!